Welcome back to our channel. Today is a beautiful day to dive into the absolute chaos unfolding in Port Charles. We have so much to unpack. So grab your favorite drink and let's get into it. I'm screaming. I can't even deal right now. Okay, but listen. I was eating dinner and literally choked on my food when I watched this episode. Because the sheer audacity of these characters is actually blowing my mind. My jaw dropped. I am honestly so stressed out, I feel like I need a vacation just from watching this show. So we have to talk about Curtis Ashford because I am literally about to lose my mind over his behavior. He is acting completely unhinged and I need him to take a serious seat. Why would he do that? He is on this massive, obsessive witch hunt to find out who caused the car crash that put Jordan in the hospital. But wait, I forgot to mention earlier, but the entire reason they crashed in the first place is because Curtis and Jordan were literally making out while driving. Like, they were passionately kissing behind the wheel, taking their eyes off the dark road. And now Curtis is acting like some innocent victim who was targeted by a master assassin. The hypocrisy is actually insane. I'm yelling at my screen. He needs to take some accountability, honestly. But no, instead of looking in the mirror, Curtis is pointing fingers everywhere. And he has officially set his sights on Isaiah Gannon. And don't even get me started on that. Isaiah is literally out here minding his own business, being a doctor, trying to help people. And Curtis has decided that Isaiah is public enemy number one. Curtis found out that Isaiah was secretly at Spencer's house the night of the crash. And because Isaiah was off the grid and acting secretive, Curtis is using this as proof that Isaiah was the hit and run driver who scraped the guardrail and fled the scene. I was like, are you serious right now? Curtis is a former private investigator. He should know better than to jump to these wild conclusions based on zero actual evidence. But he's so blinded by his guilt over Jordan's injuries that he needs a scapegoat. And Isaiah is just standing right there in the crosshairs. Oh wait, before that happened actually. I need to explain. WHY, Isaiah was at Lulu's house. Because this is the most tragic part of the entire storyline. Isaiah wasn't out joyriding or running people off the road. He was literally making a secret medical house call to treat Rocco Falconeri's infected hand. And why was it a secret? Because Rocco is the one who shot Ross Cullum, yes. Rocco pulled the trigger to save Britt and Jason. And now Jason is literally rotting in WSB custody, taking the fall for a teenager. Lulu has been terrified to take Rocco to the hospital because she knows Dante and the cops are swarming everywhere. So she begged Isaiah to come over and treat the infection off the books. Isaiah, being the absolute saint that he has agreed to help a desperate mother and a terrified kid. And now it's blowing up in his face. I can't breathe. This is so dramatic. So now Isaiah is trapped. He is literally backed into the most impossible corner ever. Curtis is screaming at him. The police are circling. And Isaiah cannot provide his alibi without exposing Rocco as the shooter. If Isaiah tells the truth and says that he was at Lulu's treating a gunshot-related infection, Dante is going to put two and two together and Rocco's life will be completely ruined. Jason's sacrifice will mean nothing. So Isaiah is just standing there taking the heat, refusing to throw a kid under the bus. I'm dead. He is sacrificing his own freedom for Rocco. At this point, I'm yelling at my screen because Isaiah does not deserve this. He is literally going to jail for a crime he didn't commit. All because he honors his medical oath and wants to protect a child. It's actually breaking my heart. Wait, did I already say that whatever anyway, enter Tracy Quartermain? Oh my god. The devil works hard, but Tracy Quartermain works harder. The audacity. Not okay. Tracy sees Curtis hyperfixating on Isaiah and realizes this is the absolute perfect opportunity to save her own family. Because guess who actually hit the guardrail and fled the scene that night? Brook Lynn Quartermain, yes. BLQ was driving home tipsy after Gio's performance at Charlie's pub scraped the guardrail, panicked because she thought she'd fail a breathalyzer and lose her chance to foster baby Phoebe with Chase. And just kept driving. She didn't even realize Jordan and Curtis had crashed into the ditch. So Tracy, being the ruthless, iconic, terrifying matriarch that she is, swoops in and completely hijacks the narrative. Tracy sees Isaiah going down and she is literally fanning the flames. She is using all of her Quartermain power and influence to make sure the police look only at Isaiah. She is planting doubts. She is encouraging Curtis's delusions. She is making sure that all the fake evidence points directly to Isaiah's SUV. It is honestly a masterclass in manipulation, but it is so evil I am shaking. Tracy is perfectly fine with letting an innocent black doctor go to prison, just to make sure Brook Lynn's foster application doesn't get a red flag. I mean, we all know Tracy is ruthless, but this is a whole new level of dark. She literally looked Brook Lynn in the eye and told her to shut up and let Isaiah take the fall. The absolute sheer terror of Tracy Quartermaine is unmatched. And then there is Brook Lynn. She needs to get it together, I swear. Brook Lynn is currently writhing in the most suffocating, agonizing guilt I have ever seen on this show. She is watching Isaiah, a good man, a doctor, someone who has helped her friends get arrested and dragged off to jail for something she did. I had to pause and text my friend immediately because the scenes of Brook Lynn having a literal panic attack in the Quartermaine mansion are so intense. As Chase is walking around completely oblivious, talking about how excited he is to adopt Phoebe and start their family. And Brook Lynn is just sweating bullets knowing that her entire life is built on a massive, horrible lie. How is she going to look Chase in the eye? Chase is a cop. He literally stands for justice. And his wife is letting an innocent man rot in a cell. I'm calling it now. This is going to END badly. Honestly, Brook Lynn's internal monologue must be a nightmare right now. She wants to come clean. You can see it in her eyes. Every time she looks at baby Phoebe, she knows that she's trading Isaiah's life for her own happiness. But Tracy is constantly hovering over her, like a hawk whispering threats, reminding her that if she confesses, she loses Chase, she loses the baby, she goes to jail. It is psychological warfare, and Brook Lynn is cracking under the pressure. I literally cannot stand watching her suffer like this. But at the same time, I'm like, girl, speak up. You cannot let Isaiah go down for this. I'm done. I can't even look at her without getting stressed out. Okay, where was I? Right, so the fallout of Isaiah getting arrested. Portia Robinson is absolutely devastated. Her world is shattering. She's watching the man she cares about get locked up, and she is completely losing her mind. And who is the one putting him there? Curtis, her own husband. The Ashford and Robinson families are literally going to war over this. It is a full-blown legal and emotional bloodbath. Portia is screaming at Curtis, telling him he's making a huge mistake, that Isaiah would never do something like this. But Curtis is so stubborn and so blinded by his own trauma that he refuses to listen. He is convinced he's the hero of this story, getting justice for Jordan, when in reality he is the villain destroying an innocent man's life. Let's talk about Jordan for a second. She is lying in that hospital bed, completely overwhelmed, trying to process the fact that her life almost ended. She is feeling so guilty because she knows she took her eyes off the road. And when Curtis comes in and tells her that he found the guy and that it's Isaiah, Jordan is thrown for a massive loop. She literally had a wild meltdown earlier screaming at Isaiah to leave her room when he was trying to encourage her, and now she thinks he tried to kill her. The psychological manipulation Curtis is doing to her without even realizing it is wild. I mean, Jordan is a former police commissioner. She has to know deep down that Curtis's evidence is completely circumstantial, but she's vulnerable. She's in pain and she wants closure. So she's just going along with it. It's so frustrating to watch. And we have to talk about Ada, Justine Turner, being dragged into this mess. Curtis literally marched up to Justine and pointed the finger straight at Isaiah. Justine is trying to be objective. She really is. She's hunting down the hit and run driver, but Laura Collins actually had to step in and warn her. Laura was like, hey, maybe take a step back because Curtis has a massive personal grudge against Isaiah. Laura knows that Curtis is acting on pure emotion, but Justine is under so much pressure to close the case, especially because Jordan is her friend. So when Tracy Quartermaine starts feeding the narrative and pushing the evidence against Isaiah, Justine has almost no choice but to make the arrest. The legal system in Port Charles is literally a joke. I swear. Someone can just point a finger, Tracy can make a phone call, and boom, an innocent doctor is behind bars. It makes me so mad I could scream. Oh wait, I forgot to mention earlier, but how is Rocco handling all this? Rocco is literally a child, and he is carrying the weight of the world on his shoulders. He knows he shot Cullum. He knows Jason is in a WSB prison because of him, and now he knows that Isaiah Gannon is in a local jail because he was treating his infected hand. Rocco has to be losing his mind. He already confessed to Britt Westbourne in the hospital chapel, which is insane, by the way. Britt completely freaked out and told him they'd be dead if Cullum found out. So Rocco is terrified of Cullum, terrified of Dante finding out, and now he's watching Isaiah go down. I am honestly surprised Rocco hasn't just completely snapped and confessed to the police. Lulu is trying so hard to protect him, but at what cost? She is letting an innocent man's life be destroyed to save her son. It's the ultimate mother's dilemma, but it is so messed up. And let's circle back to Tracy and Brook Lynn because I am still not over it. Tracy is literally gaslighting her own granddaughter. Brook Lynn is sitting there crying, saying she can't let Isaiah take the fall, and Tracy's just looking at her with ice in her veins. Tracy actually gave Brook Lynn an ultimatum. She was like, if you want to turn yourself in and go to prison, instead of starting a family with Chase, be my guest. Like WHO says that Tracy knows exactly how to hit Brook Lynn where it hurts. She weaponized Brook Lynn's love for Chase and baby Phoebe to force her into silence. It is so toxic. I was eating my dinner and literally choked when Tracy delivered that line. The absolute manipulation. Brook Lynn is a victim of her own grandmother's protective instincts. But honestly, Brook Lynn is a grown woman. She needs to stand up to Tracy. She has grown so much over the years. She isn't that selfish girl anymore. To see her regress and hide behind Tracy's money and power is honestly so disappointing. I am rooting for her to do the right thing, but I know she won't until it's too late. I just keep thinking about how this is going to affect the hospital too. Isaiah is a top doctor at GH. With him in jail, Lucas Jones and the rest of the staff are going to be scrambling. And Portia is the co-chief of staff. How is she supposed to work alongside Curtis's friends and family knowing what Curtis did to Isaiah? The Thanksgiving dinners are going to be awkward, let me tell you. The Ashford and Robinson families might actually never recover from this. Curtis has crossed a line that you just can't uncross. When the truth finally comes out, and it always comes out in poor Charles Curtis, is going to have to look Portia in the eye and admit he was wrong. He is going to have to look Isaiah in the eye and apologize for taking away his freedom. And Tracy and Brook Lynn are going to have to face the wrath of the entire town. I am so ready for the fallout. It is going to be cinematic. And don't even get me started on what happens when Dante finally figures this out. Because, Dante is not going to just let this go. He's investigating the Marco Rios murder. He's looking into Ross Cullum, and eventually he's going to look into Isaiah's alibi. If Dante finds out that Isaiah was at Lulu's house treating Rocco, the entire house of cards is going to collapse. Lulu is going to have to confess that Rocco is the shooter. Jason will be exonerated. But what happens to Brook Lynn? If Isaiah is cleared of the hit and run, Curtis is going to go right back on the hunt, and all roads will eventually lead to the Quartermains. Tracy's cover-up is going to implode spectacularly. Mark my words. This secret is a ticking time bomb, and when it goes off, there will be 0 survivors. I am literally counting down the days until the truth comes out. I just can't with these people. Why can't anyone in this town just tell the truth for once? Like, literally just go to the police. But no. We have to have maximum drama, maximum betrayal, and maximum guilt. I am so stressed, but also so obsessed. I will be glued to my screen for the next month, watching this disaster unfold. Anyway, so that's the tea for today. I need to go lie down and process my feelings about Isaiah being in jail. It's actually too much for me to handle.